So how's it going, YouTube? In my previous walkthrough video, I got a question asking 6 back exercises in a single workout. Isn't that considered overtraining, supposedly bro science? I'm confused. And so with today's video, I want to talk about why you should not fearmonger volume. Now, I understand there's this whole new wave of training with minimalist training, spend the least amount of time, get the most amount of gains. Yes, it'll work, especially if you're a newbie lifter. But I'd argue as you get more serious about your lifting, as you become older in training age and more experience, it's going to require a little bit more time, or at least a little bit more volume in your training to get things done to where you can make progress. So as you get older in training age, and unless you're just trying to maintain, you should be pushing harder, because at each stage it's going to be a little bit more difficult to add on that 0.5 to 1 pound of muscle mass a year, if even so. So this footage I'm about to show you is an example of overtraining if you were to do this regularly. So I combined 2 workouts, one that I missed and one that I was supposed to do. It's an example of why you should not be doing a full body workout. In this particular matter, I'm not saying full body workouts are bad, but I'm saying that there's some pros, there's some cons to doing a full body workout. But I think for the vast majority of people who do full body workouts, you're gonna have issues if you're trying to push volume. Now, why is it the worst workout? Is it because full body workouts just suck? No. Full body workouts are great, but they do have some disadvantages. The main disadvantage is that a full body workout is going to limit you from the amount of isolations and accessory movements you could do. If you're going to be doing a full body workout, you're kind of thinking of the whole entire body that you want to target, so you're not going to spend the majority of your energy doing something like a bicep curl. Not saying you can't have bicep curls in a good full body workout. There's a good chance that you're not going to be spending 40-50 minutes training arms versus like squatting, benching, deadlifting, or doing pull-ups, doing something that's kind of targeting your whole physique as a whole, because that's the point of a full body workout, assuming you don't have a weak point that you're training. Getting back to my worst workout, why is it considered the worst workout? Well, there's an issue. I spent a tremendous amount of time on the powerlifting part of a full body workout. So I did the squat, the bench, deadlift, in which I did about 3 sets. Each set takes about 4 minutes in between rests, so it's about 36 minutes of resting, not counting the warm-ups of each movement. So potentially, if you do low volume with a squat, bench, deadlift, and you don't really count it as bodybuilding / hypertrophy, or you're doing sets of 2, like in my case, then before you get to a range where you start actually pushing the weights and start getting like a pump, or actually start training properly for muscle size, then with the prehab / warm-up, all the warm-ups, including the top sets, you're gonna be spending about 50 minutes to an hour before actually working out, which in some cases is fine if you don't have tremendous amount of volume with the accessories after in isolations. But because I'm doing the worst workout today, or yesterday, let's talk about what accessories I chose for this workout. So I performed the squat, deadlift, bench in that exact order because I was combining 2 days in one, and really the deadlift is more important to me than the bench. So I benched last, moved from the bench press, went to the incline press, went to the lat pull down, chest fly, machine row, bicep curl, tricep extension, hamstring curl, and then leg extensions, which honestly is a lot to put into one training session. But because I'm relatively older in training age, used to high volume workouts, it wasn't that bad. I honestly would not do this workout regularly. And because I am taking a rest day, which was today because this workout was yesterday, my body has time to recover. Because I am training legs tomorrow, so I have a day rest in between the full body workout now. I didn't do a whole lot for my legs. The only movements I really did were the tempo squat, the pause deadlifts, hamstring curls, and leg extensions. So if you really think about it, for lower body, it's not that much. And for upper body, I get 2 whole rest days. So although I think it is the worst workout ever because you're spending like 1 hour on powerlifting / strength training, then you're pretty much taxed, destroyed, and then you don't really want to work out if you're like relatively a new lifter. So a lot of people kind of blow their wad in a sense where they kind of just energy dump on the squat, bench, deadlift, or if they have very taxing lifts in the beginning of their session, when they get to like training arms or something, their CNS can be completely fried, or their body just can be wear and tear from the previous week and they're not going to have any juice left. It does make a difference at what stage of lifting you're at. If you're a newer lifter, you tend to handle volume a little bit less. And I think that pretty much relates to the fact that you don't have as much muscle mass. But as you get bigger, I feel like you could tolerate a little bit more volume. Your body's just going to require a little bit more in terms of maintenance to keep the size and to progress. So I don't think full body workouts are the worst, but I don't think they're the best case scenario. But if you're limited in training sessions a week, I do think having something like a squat, bench, deadlift and then a full body workout can work. I don't recommend it. What I actually recommend is to have a full body workout. If you do have squat, bench, deadlift in the beginning, choose maybe 2 to 3 compounds at the end, and keep it moderate intensity. Now, if you're not a power lifter and you don't care at all, having 1 or 2 or even all compound movements removed from training will make the full body workout a lot easier and most likely a lot better, because you're not going to be juiced at the beginning of your workout from just prioritizing the strength portion of your training. And obviously it's going to vary depending on the rep schemes that you're working with. If you're working with sets of 8 on squat, bench, deadlift, then you're going to be way more juiced than doing doubles and singles as I did in my training. And so that's probably another reason why I felt okay after squat, bench, deadlift, because I didn't do a whole lot of total volume. Now, I really do believe that overtraining is a bigger issue in the earlier stages of training, especially if you're only doing compound movements. But as you get more mature in the gym and you know your body a little bit better, you will know what type of compounds you start to fade at and where diminished returns, where you don't really feel like you're getting anything out of it and it's junk volume. And so I recommend is when you start to fade, maybe take out a compound movement or 2 and then add in more isolations, where you could really just focus on those muscle groups that are not faded or you kind of want to push further without having total systemic fatigue. And so it's just a matter of manipulating your training routine and working with someone. If you don't have a coach, find what's the sweet spot, because having these generic statements of, oh yes, 10 sets per workout session is the ideal amount, this is what the meta-analysis showed, therefore you cannot pass this range of 10 to 24 sets. But in reality, let's face it, how many people are training for 8+ years, decent genetics for volume, can deadlift 700 plus, pretty much are me, you know, like how many people have your biomechanics, how many people are built like you? And so yes, research is great. Again, how many people are like you specifically? I'm not saying you should be doing your own routine that has no correlation to science, or that you should drift completely far off as an outlier and be like, yes, I'm just so elite, I can do 70 sets a week. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, don't be afraid to deviate a little bit. Like, now the science shows 10 sets is what recommends. I don't think you should worry and be like, oh my God, I'm overtraining, I'm doing 15 or 20 sets. Like, that's not that much different if you really think about it. Everyone's body responds differently. Everyone trains at different intensity. And so I think these generic values of X amount set, they're a good guideline for sure, especially if you're starting out and you have zero idea what you're doing in the gym. It's a great guideline to have, but I don't think it's the word of God that you should just mimic. And I think this is a value of following people, Jeffrey, Alex, myself, where we're willing to put ourselves into untouched territory to try to make progress or try to experiment with ourselves. You can call it bro science. It is bro science, but at the end of the day, bro science is what becomes real science when it's studied more in depth. And just because bro science doesn't mean what you're doing is completely whack and irrelevant. But if you want to support me, you can use my code JustLee, 10% off from Transparent Labs. JustLee for Young LA if you want to pick up some sweet gear. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.